Hello and welcome to the Career.Place Introduction Webinar. My name is Gabe Gurman. I am the co-founder and COO of Career.Place. And this is me. And as you can probably tell from my accent, I am Hispanic. I was born in Cuba. I grew up on Cuban coffee and churros. And an amazing milestone in my life happened when I was a teenager, and that's when I became a U.S. citizen. On the day I became a citizen, I made a decision, and that decision was to change my name. I changed it from Gabriel Jose Gurman to Gabe Joe Gurman, and I didn't realize the benefit of making that change until a few years later. And that few years later is when I was in graduate school, and I was in the Hispanic Club, and we're getting ready for graduation. And we're putting together our resumes and applying to a lot of the same jobs. And week after week, we'd get back replies. But I noticed that I was and a few others were getting a lot more replies and a lot more callbacks than the rest of the group. And we weren't stupid. We knew what was going on over here. And one of my friends, Carlos, I'll never forget, he decided to play the name game for fun. And he changed his name from Carlos over to, I forgot, it was Chuck or Charlie or Charles. And lo and behold, he got a lot more callbacks after that. But why? I mean, we all had the same background, the same amount of inexperience. And what is it about the way we hire that really makes this happen? And it's no surprise. I mean, we know it's the front end of the hiring process. It's something I call the 6-second review. See, on average, it takes a hiring manager or recruiter just about 6 seconds to disqualify a resume. And it's not just for racial reasons, it's for all sorts of reasons, for all sorts of biases. It's been happening this way for decades, and how else are you going to turn a pile of a bunch of resumes down to a reasonable amount that you can actually deal with? Now, what I'd like to do for a moment, a little role-playing over here, I kind of want to show you this process in action. Let's pretend an organization is hiring for a position, and these 10 good-looking people are represent a pile of resumes. And let's kind of go into the mind of a hiring manager or recruiter as they would go through these resumes. Okay, first one. Oh, can't pronounce the name. Forget about it. No one will ever be able to deal with this person. Oh, Hispanic. I've never really hired an Hispanic into this type of position. Oh, gap. A 2-year gap in his experience? There's something wrong over here. Oh, here's another one with a gap. Too old. Oh, this one graduated 5 years ago. She's probably going to start a family soon. Okay, now I've got my list down to a reasonable size, and I can get on with my work of reviewing these people for the job. Okay, I know that was really tough. I know that was uncomfortable to hear, and believe me, it was uncomfortable for me to say as well. But it's reality, right? We know this is what happens today, and it gets worse. The reasons and the biases are actually much worse than the examples I gave. See, bias gives us shortcuts, right? And it lets us get through our days. It's when you look at the person who left with those pile of resumes, it's the bias that really helps it become the shorter list on the right. And at one point, enter the dragon. No, sorry, that was a Bruce Lee movie. Enter the applicant tracking system, the ATS, which when it originally appeared, the ATS, or the applicant tracking system, was a system that tracked applicants, right? And it did that job, and it still does that job very well. But that solution has evolved, and it's evolved into a solution that can bias much faster than we humanly can. What used to take 6 seconds on a resume to review can now be 6 milliseconds. So we've taken a flawed and biased manual process and made a flawed and biased automated process. Progress, right? But you know what? You may say, so what? So what? We've been working this way for decades, right? We have successful organizations. We hire people. We get through our lives. But the so what is this? The so what is the financial impact of this problem. And that financial impact could be pretty severe. The bottom line is this. Focusing on the wrong things at any point in the hiring process, whether it's the beginning, middle, or end, will increase the risk of a bad hire. Period. And we've all seen the reports. We've all seen the information about bad hires, and we've shared. A bad hire will cost up to 2 times their annual salary in sunk cost. And a point that I found pretty astounding, 40% of new hires don't last in their organization a year, which is crazy. Do the math on that one. And how about all the other impacts? Tarnishing their brands, lowering team morale, and heaven forbid, legal issues. But hang on a second. How about these people over here? These people who never got a shot, never got a chance, never got to see the light of day for the job that you had. Could there have been a good hire or a great hire looking in that list? Well, you know what? We'll never know. Imagine for a moment, maybe close your eyes. Imagine for a moment having a process without any biasing information that we can disqualify people on. Imagine for a moment having to purely focus on what candidates are capable of doing rather than who they are, where they went to school, or if there's a gap in their resume. At Career.Place, this was our seed, our vision to start this company. And after a lot of research and working with some amazing people, we now have a solution that does exactly that. Career.Place is a talent evaluation solution that's nestled behind the job boards and can fit seamlessly in your HR ecosystem or work perfectly well standalone. It's a solution that will consistently and fairly evaluate all of your candidates for the job, your jobs, anonymously. Let's take that hiring funnel that we have that represents Career.Place and show you how it works. That funnel is broken up into 3 stages. Any candidate applying to a job through Career.Place will all enter the first stage, called the Qualify stage. This is where we make sure, and by the way, this stage is a fully automated stage. This is where we make sure that the candidates meet the basic needs and basic requirements of the hiring organization. Everything from making sure the candidate's willing to work at a certain location, can travel a certain amount, have certain hard skills, maybe there's a language requirement, and if they get through that, they are all presented with an occupation-specific soft skills assessment to ensure they have the foundation to perform that job. For candidates who pass this stage, they are immediately taken to stage 2. This is the demonstrate stage. I like to call it the show me, don't tell me stage. Think back to a job you hired for recently. And for that job, think about the day-to-day tasks the person would have to do in that job and the types of challenges they would be faced doing that job. Take those tasks, take those challenges, put them in the form of homework questions or job scenarios, and that's stage 2. That's demonstrate. Let the candidates who are applying for your job show you what they could do for you for your job. You can review their submissions, and remember, they'll be anonymous through this, and for the ones that pass, they're invited to the final stage. This is a stage where you can evaluate candidates from a fit perspective, from a cultural perspective. We use video technology over here, where the candidates will record themselves in short 30-second to 60-second snippets, answering questions around culture and fit. And for the ones that pass this stage, that becomes basically your short list of highly qualified candidates. And it's only at this point that you'll be able to reveal or unlock their information. You'll see their name, their contact information, their resume, their social media information, any other information that they've supplied. You'll be able to see this information, and it's at this point you'll be able to bring them in for a final interview and make your decision to hire. So end to end, from candidates applying to your job through Career.Place, they'll probably have to dedicate anywhere from a total of 15 minutes, maybe up to 60 minutes. But let me ask you, is it really worth it if you can get a qualified candidate at the end of that process? Now I'd like to show you how Career.Place works with a live demo. I'm going to switch over to the solution, and there it is. Welcome to Career.Place. This is our corporate dashboard. I'm currently logged in as a recruiter right now, and what you see over here are a list of jobs that I have active in my organization. So we like to call these rectangular areas job cards, and you can see all the information about each job in these cards. And you can see I have jobs here that are posted, and they're towards the bottom. There are jobs that are in a draft mode, not out there. And by posted, we mean they're currently on the job boards and they're currently receiving candidates. The first thing I'd like to show you is this for the software engineering job. Let me show you what a candidate would see for this job. So here is what a job posting would look like from a candidate perspective, where they could see the basic information about the job, where the job is, and the information about it. We like to use videos and allow hiring organizations to incorporate videos, maybe their culture statement, maybe it's going to be a job description video, which is becoming very popular right now. And of course, the candidate can peruse this and see all the other information about the job itself. Let's go back to the demo over here. And now back for the software engineering job, you can see these different tabs of information. The first one is our statistics of the job. We're big into information and analytics. I want to show, at any given point, the live information of how the job is doing. So how many applies have there been? How many have passed that first qualification stage? Let me just click on there and show you more details. So here you could see things like, how many times the job has been viewed on the job board versus applied. The next three bubbles represent those three stages of the hiring process. The first stage, the qualification, and the automated stage. You can see 50% passed. If I expand it, you'll see the reasons why 50% are not passing. And you can see in this pie chart over here a summary of the information. We can see that 13 applicants did not pass due to the knowledge quiz. So what can I do with this? I could look at details if I scroll down over here, and I could see, wow, this is a 2-question knowledge quiz, and see how many candidates did not answer those questions correctly. Maybe the questions were tough. Maybe the knowledge quiz itself was, overall was something was not right with it. I can go to it, I can modify it, and I'll be able to actually invite those candidates that did not pass for that specific reason, and invite them back to this job. And we'll simply tell them that, hey, the criteria for the job has changed. You're more than invited to reapply for the job. So let's scroll up over here. Now we can see the other tabs in place over here. The next two phases, homework or the demonstrate stage, interview, which is that culture and fit. Let me show you homework real quick. So these are the candidates that have passed the first stage and have submitted their homework assignments. And the first thing to really point out over here you can see applicants requiring review. You can see, very important, they're all anonymous. There's no identifying information whatsoever. I can click on this review button, and I will see for this applicant, I could see how they responded to the homework questions. In this case, we had 2 questions. And you can see on the right of here how the hiring team is collaborating and rating the responses. And again, they're rating these obviously from a pure content perspective. They know nothing about the applicant. The hiring manager or recruiter can decide for this applicant based on the responses and the ratings to decide to take this candidate, move them to the next step, or stop them at this point in the process. The ones who go to the next step, they're invited to that culture fit or the interview stage. And same exact interface, same type of functionality over here. You can review the responses, rate them, collaborate. Hiring manager or recruiter can take the candidate and move them to the next step, which really is that now reveal stage. And this stage really represents your list of highly qualified candidates. This is where you could do that final unlock and see their information. I'll give you an example. Miguel Herrera, you could see his up on top over here, his contact information, ways to reach him. On the right, we can actually chat with him and say, hey, we want to schedule an interview, and bring him in place over here. And that's really what I wanted to show you from a demo perspective on the system. So I'd like to go back to our presentation at this point and really bring this home for you now. So Career.Place is a cloud solution. It's a 100% SaaS solution. There's no IT involvement whatsoever to get this going. You could go try it right now. Just go to my.career.place, create yourself an employer account. There's no obligation, no credit cards or anything like that required. You actually get 3 free unlocks with a new account, and that's 3 qualified candidates that you could have, for a job. Or you could try our pilot program. So our pilot program is the total cost is $1,500, no other hidden costs. You get 20 unlocks with this, plus the 3 free unlocks. And the other thing you get with this is occupation-specific consulting. So if there's a challenging position you have and you need some guidance, we can definitely help with that and ensure you can have a successful hire in that position. Or you can call this Hispanic guy over here. And here's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any more questions or show you any other parts of the system you'd like to see. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out our webinar and get the introduction to Career.Place, and I wish you all a great rest of the day.